The readings I've chose, this one is a beautiful love letter from those who have passed on, written by Talia Hunter. Take the love you have for me and radiate it outwards, allowing it to touch and impact others. Take the memory you have of me and use it as a source of inspiration to live fully, meaningfully, and intentionally. Take the image you have of me in your mind and allow it to fuel you to take action, seize the day, and be reminded of what is most important in life. Take the care you have for me and let it remind you to care for yourself fully and shower yourself with your own love. And take the pain and grief you feel following my loss and alchemize it into love and compassion and beauty. Build a castle from the wreckage of my passing and allow it to unlock your greatness and potential and empower you to become more than you ever thought you were capable of being. And know that I can never truly leave you and will always remain beside you, watching over you in spirit, and that the love I have for you lives on. Through the connections you form, the kindness and compassion you share, and the future relationships and friendships you cultivate, and until we are one day reunited, I will remain with you through the storms and chaos of life. And am always beside you, walking with you, laughing with you, crying with you, and smiling with you. And I am proud of you for being strong. I am proud of you for being brave. And I am proud of you for being you. That was, I thought, perfect. And to go with that, I have one short quote. It's a Tuscarora proverb. They are not dead who live in the hearts they leave behind. My thoughts for today.
I've always found that song to be very touching, you know, whoever sings it, and some sing it like, I don't want to say better than others, but better than others. And I always find it touching. But when you think about what that message is, to dream the impossible dream, to me, it's not going to sleep and dreaming. Am I on both screens? Oh, good. I'm back. Not erased anymore. When we talk about to dream the impossible dream, to me, it's not dreaming as we go to sleep and we dream our dreams and our mind kind of processes what's gone on in the day or the month or the week or whatever the case is. But it's dreaming. It's dreaming about what can be. It's dreaming about what we want. It's dreaming about what we want to do, what we want to be, what we want to see. And it's interesting because if any of you have kids or had kids or have grandchildren or great grandchildren, you'll see, what do we do with kids? We encourage them to dream. We encourage them to look beyond what they may see in the reality of where they are. Most families, I hope, do that with their children. Most families, I hope, allow children to dream. But we tend to, in general, assume that kids can dream, that kids can make their life whatever they want them to be. Because don't we tell them that? Don't we tell our children, you can be whatever you want to be? And then what happens as we get a little older? What happens? We start to say, well, you can't do that. You're too old to do that. You can't act like a little kid anymore. We start to talk about taking those dreams away. And then when you get to be my age, which is pretty ancient these days, people will say, well, you're too old to dream. People start to treat you differently when you're of a certain age, when we're past the kid age. I know, Eleanor, nobody treats you differently ever and never will. But have you noticed that? If you're of a certain age, have you noticed where people start talking about the reality of life? Oh, my hip hurts. Oh, this happens. Oh, that happens. I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that. Not about what could be. What is the dream? What is still to come? Because whether you're 8 or you're 80 or you're 108, there's still time. There's still availability. There's still that inspiration that can be. Now, do we go through times in our life where we don't want to hear about inspiration, when we don't want to hear about dreams, when we're having a difficult time getting up in the morning, let alone worrying about what we can actually manifest or create in our life? Absolutely. I'm sure most of you that are listening have had times, experiences, maybe now for you, having a difficult time getting up and saying, I'm going to get through this day. That is part of, unfortunately, I believe, our human experience here, to figure out that there are days to come, that there are more dreams to be, that there is more opportunity. And it's, to me, when we talk to kids about dreaming, we take away the boundaries of what could be. We remove the sense of you can't do this because, and then we bring it back for ourselves, or we're told we can't. And with dreaming, to me, a lot of it, and you may call me crazy, and it's not the first time I've been called that. I feel when we get these inspirations, when we get these thoughts of, I can do this, or is this possible? Even if we say, is it possible? At least it's a thought. At least it's a start of energy. At least it's a start of something. But I feel we get inspired a lot of times by the spirit world, by the energetic that is not in the physical world. We don't recognize it as communication, but there's an inspiration to look beyond what we are seeing. And if we can possibly tap into that a little bit more, what could we perhaps do? What could we perhaps dream? And I feel that when we look back at some of these amazing things that have happened in our world over time, where somebody's come up with an idea that's revolutionized the world for everybody else. Did that idea just come from their own mind? Maybe. Or did it come in a sense from the energetic side of life to not maybe one person, but maybe many people? And maybe that one person actually moved and did something about it. I remember my grandfather, my mom's dad, my mom's mom. No, my mom's dad. Sorry about that. My mom's dad talking about when he was younger, he envisioned something by railroad tracks that would keep people and cars from going over it. As we know it here in the States, it's those railroad crossings. He envisioned that. And he said, I didn't do anything about it. And then what happened down the road? Somebody said, hey, we've got to do this, and went and did the action of it. And he always thought what he might have missed in not taking that dream, that thought, that inspiration a little bit farther. And I think if we think about our own lives, we've had many opportunities where something has kind of come to us, we've thought about, we've dreamed about, has been in our mindset. And I can talk about myself. I don't know how you reacted. Generally, I'm like, I'm too tired. I'm just too tired, But when we look at it that way, we then have that free will choice of doing it or not doing it. And whether it's come to you alone, or it's kind of a general sense that a lot of people have the same notion in a relatively short period of time. Is it the spirit world's way of trying to kind of hedge their bet, trying to say, hey, if we put it out to 1,000 people, maybe one person will do something about it? Maybe, maybe not, but it's something to think about, isn't it? Because I honestly do not believe that all of these great inventions from, Leonardo da Vinci, all the way through to even somebody like Steve Jobs, whether you liked him as a person or not, he invented something that changed all of our lives. We walk around with a small computer in our back pocket or our pocketbooks every single day on our phones. So people who have come up with these changes, these ideas, is it just their idea? Or is it a dream that's been kind of seeded, sprinkled out? So hopefully in that inspiration of life, we can do something different for our lives, for each other, for the world, in a good and positive way. Not just terrible things, because we tend to focus on those in our life. We tend to focus on those in the news, not terrible things, the good things in life also. There's, I don't know if anybody remembers, because I haven't seen him around a lot lately, but there's an Irish step dancer called Michael Flatley. Does anybody remember him? I think he's still alive, actually, but I haven't seen him do any kind of work lately. If you've never seen him dance, Google him. It's absolutely spectacular. But he had an interview one time that has always stuck with me, because they were talking to him about how he developed this rhythm, because he did Irish step dance differently than it was taught, where if you've seen Irish step, it's very kind of regimented, hands by the side, you don't move that, you don't move your head, it's very kind of soldier-like. And he comes out with his hands going and everything just like kind of flailing there. But it's brilliant the way that he does it. And somebody was asking him about that, like, why did you change this? What gave you the thought, the inspiration? And what he said was, when he was a young boy in school, like 5 years, 6 years old, he was always being yelled at by his teachers. He was always being yelled at by his parents, because he would sit and look out of the window and daydream. And they thought he was just not paying attention. They thought he was just being 5 and 6 years old. And what was their reaction? Come back here, come back, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. But what he said was, those things that I was dreaming about when I was 5 and 6 is what I was doing now, what he created, what he started a revolution in terms of the way Irish step dance is now done. And so even at 5 and 6, in his inspiration, in his dream, he had a thought of, I can do this. And he was one of the ones that followed that through. How many dreams do we have? How many ideas do we have that we just say, too tired? I don't know how to do that. I don't know where to take that. I don't know how to create that. I've got the idea. I don't know how to create that. How many times have we used that inspiration in a positive way? And how many times have we thrown it out? So when we talk about dreaming the impossible dream, to me, it's not impossible. It may be impractical for you in that moment of time, but I don't feel it's impossible. Remember Bill Collar talking one time about a woman that he met that was, who came to him for a reading. This is many, many, many years ago. And she was in a stage of cancer. She had been given a kind of not good diagnosis from the doctors, kind of saying, kind of get your things in order, let's go ahead and kind of figure that you're not going to be around much longer, and, get things in order, blah, 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 blah. She came to him for a reading, and the spirit world said, start a hospice. Now, those that know Bill, know that he does say what he wants to say. So he told her that, and she's like, what are you, crazy? What are you, crazy? I'm dying. And he's like, this is what they're talking about, and this is how it should unfold, the kind of the recipe of what could be. So God bless her, I think she was in her 60s at the time. She went out, she listened to what was said, the inspiration, the dream, and she started a hospice in Switzerland. And today she is still alive. She is running one of the biggest, or has, not running herself right now, but she has other people running one of the biggest hospices in Switzerland still, 30 years later, 25 years later, whatever it is. And she still has that dream. She still has that dream that more can be done. Now, if I was given that diagnosis, I don't know what I would do. I don't know whether we can understand that unless we're in that moment of time. But I give her a lot of credit for listening, for putting into action what the dream, what the inspiration was given to her. I give Bill a lot of credit for giving it, because as a medium, I'd probably like, not saying that sounds crazy, right? But because of that interaction, she has found a passion, and she has found a way to continue her physical life here for this moment of time. So the impossible dream, I don't think so. I don't think so. Dreams, inspiration, is that part of what you want to do? Maybe, maybe not. Again, free will, what you want to do. But when we talk about something that we reach the unreachable star, it's great for a song, but I don't think it's great for inspiration. When we talk about to dream the impossible dream, that to me is inspiration. So as we go through our mundane kind of world sometimes, and we get a little bit of a thought, a little bit of a nudge, a little bit of a dream, maybe the next time we give it a little bit more consideration, just a little bit, and see where that dream takes you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for, no, don't need to clap. Thank you. Thank you.